They all laughed, every single one of them, my children, my grandchildren, even the in-laws. They thought the little envelopes I gave them were a joke, until my son opened his, and the room went silent, because inside was something that would change. There lives forever. Before we continue, please write in the comments which country you're watching this video from. Enjoy the story. My name is Eleanor, and I turned 75 last month. I had one wish for my birthday: simple family dinner at my home. No big party, no fuss, just all of us together, laughing and sharing stories like old times. But my children had other plans. Mum, it's your 75th. We're throwing you a real party, my daughter Lisa insisted. Everyone will be there. It'll be amazing. Everyone, that included my 3 children, their spouses, and my 6 grandkids. People I loved with all my heart. Even if lately, I'd started to wonder if they felt the same. You see, things had changed after my husband Robert passed away 5 years ago. He was the glue that held us together. The peacemaker. The man who never let family drift apart. After he was gone, I noticed small things, missed phone calls, shorter visits, excuses about being too busy, and then something worse. Conversations about money. It started when I sold Robert's business. I thought the money would help me live comfortably and cover emergencies. But my kids saw it differently. Mum, you should invest that, my son David said once, hinting that I could help him with his mortgage. I don't need to invest, I told him. I just need peace of mind. But they didn't let it go soon. Lisa asked for help paying off her credit cards. My youngest, Mark, needed a loan for his startup. I helped a little here and there, because I'm their mother. That's what mothers do. But then came the day I overheard Lisa talking to David on the phone. She's sitting on all that money. And for what? She's old. She doesn't need it all. Those words cut deeper than any knife. So when my 75th birthday came around, I made a plan. I wanted to see something. To know the truth. Would they celebrate me because they loved me, or because of what I had? The party was beautiful, perfect even. Balloons, flowers, laughter. Everyone dressed up, taking selfies for social media. But as the night went on, I realized something. Not one of them asked how I was feeling. Not one memory shared about Robert. Not even a thank you for the gifts I'd given them over the years. It was all about the food, the music, the photos. So when it came time for me to give them something, I pulled out the envelopes, one for each of them, just a little something. From me, I said, smiling as I handed them out. Lisa opened hers first. She laughed. Mum, what is this? A note. The others chuckled too, rolling their eyes, until David read his out loud, and the laughter stopped. David's laughter faded as his eyes scanned the paper. His jaw tightened. Mum, what is this? He asked, his voice low now. Everyone turned to look at him. What does it say? Lisa demanded, trying to peek over his shoulder. David swallowed hard and read aloud. To my dear family, everything I own, the house, the savings, the investments, will go to the person who has truly been there for me, without expecting anything in return. Tonight, I'll decide who that is. The room went dead silent. You could hear the music playing faintly in the background, but inside the room, not a sound. No one was laughing anymore. Lisa's face turned pale. Mum, you're joking, right? This is some kind of game. I smiled softly. Does it sound like a joke to you? She stammered. Well, I mean, You can't just decide something like that at a party. Why not? I said calmly. Isn't family supposed to be about love, not money? Their eyes darted from one another nervously. The atmosphere shifted instantly from celebration to tension so thick you could cut it with a knife. Mark, my youngest, jumped in. Mom, you know we all love you. This is crazy. Why would you do something like this? I looked straight at him. Do you love me, or what I have? He blinked rapidly, caught off guard, and then I spoke the truth I had been holding in for years. Do you know what it feels like? I began slowly to sit alone in a house you built with the man you loved, waiting for a call that never comes. Do you know what it feels like to hear your own children talk about you like you're a bank account? No one said a word. Lisa tried to smile, her voice trembling. Mum, you're misunderstanding, am I? I cut her off, because I heard you, Lisa. I heard you tell David she's sitting on all that money. And for what? She's old. She doesn't need it all. Lisa's face went red. Mum, that's not don't, I said sharply. Don't lie to me, not tonight. Tears welled in her eyes, but I felt nothing, not anymore. I glanced at the clock. On the wall, you all have 1 hour, I said, my voice calm but firm. 1 hour to show me why you deserve my love, my money. The silence that followed was almost unbearable. Then chaos erupted. David stood up, pulling out his phone. Mum, I'll call your doctor and schedule that checkup you missed last month. Lisa rushed to the kitchen. I'll make you some tea, Mum, your favorite. Mark grabbed my hands. I'll start visiting more, I promise. I shook my head slowly. You don't get it, do you? The next hour was a circus. Compliments I'd never heard before, fake smiles, forced hugs, but it was too late. I had already made my decision, long before tonight, because there was one person, just one, who had been there, for me through everything, and they weren't sitting at that table. I stood up, holding my glass high. Time's up. Every eye was on me. The person who will inherit everything I own. I paused, watching their anxious faces. Is already taken care of. You'll find out when the time comes. Gasps, protests, angry whispers. But I didn't flinch, because I knew what was coming next would change everything forever. The room exploded. What do you mean, Mom? Lisa shouted, her voice cracking. You can't just leave us in the dark like that. David slammed his glass down so hard the stem snapped. Is this a joke to you? You think this is funny? Mark jumped in, his tone sharp. Mom, we're your children. Who else could it be? I looked at each of them slowly. The faces of the kids I once held in my arms. The same kids who now only called when they needed something. And I said the words that made the entire room stop breathing. It's not any of you. The silence that followed was deafening. Lisa blinked rapidly, her lips trembling. Not us. Who then? Some lawyer, some charity. No, I said calmly. Someone who has been there for me when none of you were. David laughed bitterly. What? The gardener? The mailman? Who the hell are you talking about, Mum? I smiled. You'll see. Because right on cue, the front door opened, every head turned, and in walked Maya, a young woman in her early 20s, dressed modestly, holding a small cake with trembling hands. Her eyes widened when she saw the crowd. Oh, hi, Mrs. Eleanor. I didn't know you had company. Lisa stood up, glaring. Who is this? I walked over and hugged Maya tightly. This, I said, turning to face them all, is the only person who remembered my birthday last year. The only person who checked on me every week. The only person who didn't want a dime from me. David frowned. Mum, who the hell is she? I looked him dead in the eye. She's the nurse who cared for your father when he was dying. And when he passed, she kept caring for me. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to. The kids exchanged shocked looks. Maya's cheeks turned pink. Mrs. Eleanor, you don't have to. Yes, I do, I interrupted gently. You sat with me when I cried. You brought me soup when I was sick. You made me feel like family, when my own family didn't. Lisa's face twisted with anger. So what? You're leaving everything to her. I held up my glass. Yes, every penny, every property, everything. Gasps filled the room. David shot to his feet. Can't be serious. She's a stranger. No, I said softly. You're the strangers. She's the only one who treated me like a human being. The room erupted in shouts. Lisa was crying now, David pacing furiously, Mark pleading with me to reconsider. But my decision was final. I turned to Maya and smiled. You've given me something money can't buy, love, without conditions. And now it's my turn to give something back. Tears welled in her eyes. Mrs. Eleanor, I don't know what to say. Say you'll stay, I whispered. Behind me, Lisa's voice cracked. Mum, please, we're family. I looked back at her, my heart heavy but firm. Family isn't about blood, Lisa. It's about showing up when it matters. And with that, I raised my glass one last time. To real love, I said, and to the people who remind us what it truly means. Maya hugged me tightly, and for the first time in years, I felt happy, because my wealth wasn't going to those who saw me as a bank. It was going to someone who saw me as a person. The room was thick with tension. David slammed his fist on the table so hard the silverware rattled. You're making a huge mistake, Mum. A huge mistake. Lisa wiped her tears and stepped closer, her voice suddenly soft and sweet, like honey hiding poison. Mum, she whispered, touching my arm, you're just upset. Emotional. You're not thinking clearly. We're your children. Blood. You can't just cut us out. I looked at her hand resting on my sleeve. Then why does it feel like you've cut me out for years? Her face went white. Mark tried a different approach. Mum, please, don't do this. We'll change. We'll visit more. We'll call every day. Just don't throw us away for some stranger. Before I could respond, Maya spoke, her voice trembling but strong. She's not throwing you away, she said quietly. You threw yourselves away when you stopped caring about her. All three turned on her like wolves. Stay out of this, David snapped. This is family business. Maya stood her ground. I am family, because family is about love, not greed. David's jaw tightened. You little enough, I shouted, slamming my glass on the table. The room froze. I took a deep breath. You have all shown me exactly why I made this decision, and you just keep proving me right. Lisa's face twisted with fury. So what, Mum? You're just going to hand over everything to her, after everything we've done for you? I stared at her. What exactly have you done, Lisa? Sent me flowers on Mother's Day, called twice a month. That's what you call love. She opened her mouth, then closed it. David's voice was low now, almost dangerous. You think this will stand? You think we're just going to let this happen? I narrowed my eyes. Are you threatening me, David? He smirked. Just warning you, people don't like being blindsided. The way he said it sent a chill down my spine. And then it happened. David lunged for the folder in my hand. The legal papers I had shown earlier, but before he could grab it, Maya moved like lightning, snatching it away and stepping back. "Give me that," David roared, charging toward her. Mark tried to grab him. "Stop it, man," Lisa screamed. And in the chaos, the folder slipped from Maya's hands and scattered across the floor. Everyone froze. There it was, in black and white dot, my official will, signed, notarized, and next to Maya's name, in bold letters, sole beneficiary. David's face turned crimson. Lisa gasped like someone had slapped her. "You actually did it," David whispered, his voice shaking with rage. "You really did it." "Yes," I said calmly, my voice steady as steel, "and it's final." But David wasn't done. His eyes flickered to the fireplace, and before I realized what he was doing, he snatched the papers off the floor and sprinted toward the flames. "David, no," I screamed. He raised the will over the fire, his hand trembling. "If we can't have it neither, can she?" For a split second, time stood still, and then Maya tackled him. The papers flew into the air like confetti, scattering across the rug. David roared, shoving her off, but Mark jumped in this time, pinning him to the ground. "Are you insane?" Mark shouted. David struggled, his face twisted with rage. "It's ours. IT should be ours." And in that moment, I saw it, not love, not family, just greed, pure ugly greed. When the fight was over, David sat slumped on the floor, his chest heaving, his eyes wild. Lisa knelt next to him, sobbing. Mark stood in the corner, silent, ashamed, and I looked at Maya, clutching the papers to her chest, tears streaming down her face. I walked over and hugged her. "Thank you," I whispered, because in that moment I knew I had made the right choice. But what happened next shocked even me. The room was silent except for David's heavy breathing. His eyes were still blazing, but his fight was gone. Lisa sat on the floor, sobbing quietly. Mark leaned against the wall, his head in his hands, and me. I stood there, calm, collected, because the moment I had planned for had finally come. I looked at Maya, who still held the scattered will papers tightly against her chest. She had risked herself to protect them for me, and that's when I spoke. "Pick up the rest of those papers, Maya," I said gently. "Let's show them everything." Her eyes widened. "Everything." I nodded. Yes, they deserve to know the truth. The truth, not just about the inheritance, but the final twist that none of them could ever see coming. Maya carefully gathered the remaining sheets and placed them on the table. Lisa, David, and Mark stared as I slowly flipped through the pages until I found the one I wanted, and then I slid it across the table toward them. "What's this?" David muttered, his voice rough. "Read it," I said softly. He picked it up and froze. His face went pale. Lisa snatched it from him, her hands trembling. Her mouth dropped open as she whispered, "No, no, this isn't real." Mark stepped closer, reading over her shoulder. His jaw clenched. On that page, in bold letters, was a simple line, effective immediately. "Eleanor Marshall transfers full ownership of the family, trust including all assets to the Marshall Foundation, a non-profit organization created to support elderly individuals abandoned by their families." Lisa looked up at me in shock. You gave it all away." I smiled faintly. Not all of it. I turned to Maya and slipped an envelope into her hands. I left you something personal, something to thank you for your kindness. Enough. For school, for a home, for a life you deserve. Tears filled her eyes. Mrs. Eleanor, you didn't have to. Yes, I did, I said firmly. Because you gave me something money can't buy, love without conditions. David slammed his fist on the table. You can't do this. This is insane. I raised my hand calmly. Actually, I can. And I already did. Everything's legal, notarized, and final. Lisa whispered, but why, Mum? Why would you give everything to strangers instead of us? I looked at her long and hard. Because I wanted to make sure. My legacy helped people who truly need it, not people who see me as a burden, not people who only show up when money's on the table. They all dropped their eyes, shame washing over their faces like a tide they couldn't fight. And then I said the words that sealed everything. You three stopped being my children the moment you stopped acting like family. Love is an action, not a word. Remember that. Maya came over and hugged me tight, tears streaming down her cheeks. For the first time in years, I felt something warm in my heart, a sense of peace I thought I'd lost forever. As for my kids, David stormed out, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. Lisa followed, sobbing uncontrollably. Mark stayed behind. For a moment, his voice breaking as he whispered, I'm sorry, Mum. I looked at him gently. Don't be sorry, be better. And then he left too. That night, as the house grew quiet, Maya and I sat together, eating a slice of the cake. She had brought, do you think they'll ever understand? She asked softly. I stared out the window at the moonlight and smiled. Maybe, maybe not. But tonight, I did what was right. And that's how, on my 75th birthday, the night my own children tried to fight over money, I gave away everything they thought mattered, and held on to the only thing that truly did. Love. Before you go, let us know in the comments which country you're watching this video from. And remember, family isn't about blood. It's about loyalty, kindness, and love that expects nothing in return.